Hi from me, Romy Stach, and welcome back to another episode of Derech Eretz. The development of a business, community, or individual is not an easy task. It requires dedication, foresight, and most importantly, developing a strategy. Chief Rabbi Warren Goldstein talks to the importance of developing strategies.
When you wake up in the morning and you look ahead to the new day, what does it look like to you? Does the new day look a lot like yesterday and the day before? And the question is, the month, when you look ahead to the new month, does it look a lot like the month before and the year? And does one year blend into the next? And does it feel like you're doing the same thing over and over? And of course, there's a very powerful force within human life, and that is the force of habit. Psychologists have shown through in-depth studies the power of habit for human beings, and that it is a tremendously powerful force in our lives. And if we can harness it for the good, we can make ourselves into better, stronger people. But on the other hand, habit is a double-edged sword because it can rob our lives of novelty and excitement. And here's the thing. Although it feels like life is staying the same all the time, actually the world around us is changing each and every single day, and we are changing each and every single day. The concept of aging as a human being is something which means that we are living with change. From the moment that a baby is born, a baby is changing all the time, and that baby turns into a child, and the child turns into a teenager, and the teenager turns into an adult. There's constant change, and that adult grows and becomes older and moves into middle age and into old age, and there's change all the time. The molecules in our bodies are changing all the time. The world around us is changing all the time. We live in a world of change. It is actually the only constant. It's one of the things that our sages teach us. The Maharal of Prague, one of our great sages of many hundreds of years ago, explains that we live in a world of change all the time, and we need to be ready to confront that change. And if we are just living in the space of habits, we're never going to be able to confront real change, because real change requires innovation. We have to live with innovation. It cannot just be photocopy after photocopy of one day after another, 1 month after another. We need to live with innovation, with newness, and that means developing new strategies for our lives. In what way? Here's the interesting thing. When God created the world, He created the world once. But actually our sages teach us, and we say it in our prayers each and every single morning, Mechadesh betuvo b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. God renews His creation each and every single day. So God could have just created the world once and put it on autopilot, but He didn't do that. He renews the world each and every single day. It's a fresh new world. We don't live in an old world. We live in a fresh new world because God wants to create and recreate every single day. And our sages teach us that we're called upon to imitate God. They explain this in the context of kindness, that God is kind and compassionate, and we too need to be kind and compassionate. But it also means God is innovative. God is recreating. We also have to be, like God, creative and innovative. We have to constantly be looking at the changing world and our changing lives, and we need to find a way to recreate ourselves, reinvent ourselves. That's on a personal level, and it's on a communal level as well. People think that strategies are only for businesses and for government, but we need strategies in our personal life for our relationships. We need strategies in our personal life for our connection with God. We need strategies in our personal life to reinvent ourselves from a professional level, but also in the way that we live our lives each and every single day. And businesses need innovative strategies. Communities need innovative strategies. That's something that I have tried to bring to my work as Chief Rabbi, the sense of innovation and freshness. Never to rely only on the projects and ideas that have happened in the past, but to say, what can we create new? And that drive for newness all the time, to reinvent and to say, how can we bring our community renewed inspiration? How can we bring to our community a sense of meeting the challenges? Because the challenges are changing all the time. And because the challenges are changing, the opportunities are changing. Therefore, we need to be new and fresh and create new innovative strategies to meet those challenges, to grasp those opportunities, to make this world into a better place, to make our lives into a better place. The bottom line is this: there's no room for complacency in life. What we achieved yesterday belongs in yesterday. We need to look forward. We can take satisfaction and build on it, but we need to look forward. And that's what our sages teach us. They say most amazing words: do not believe in yourself until the day of your death. In other words, we never stop living. There's never retirement from life. There's never a sense of we can now go into autopilot. We need to constantly think, how can I change? How can I meet the new challenges? How can I grasp the new opportunities? We need new strategies. We need fresh thinking. We need to be reinventing ourselves each and every single day.
Recently, President Cyril Ramaphosa launched the Youth Employment Service, or YES campaign, in an attempt to create 330,000 jobs for unemployed youth. The initiative takes the form of a partnership between the government, business, labor, and civil society. MTSHALI Johannesburg, as one of the partners of the YES campaign, recently trained and placed interns in various businesses.
The YES campaign is aligned to OAT's vision and mission, which is educating for life, making people employable. And we were very lucky to partner with Investec, whose vision with the YES campaign and the partnership with the YES campaign started from the beginning. And working with Investec, we have managed to recruit 200 unemployed youth and place them in schools and in small businesses as administrative support for 1 year.
80% of the participants on the YES initiative are beneficiaries that participated either in one of our IT Essential courses or our business enterprise training programs since 2015. So we have given them the opportunity first to participate on the YES initiative, knowing that they have some sort of background and we know the learners a little bit on a personal level to place them within a school or a business. The entire process for the YES initiative is that candidates need to be unemployed for at least 6 months. They need to be between the age brackets of 18 and 34. They need to be and undergo a criminal check. And once they are criminal clear, we will screen their CVs and they would undergo the interview. And then once they're placed within the business, we will monitor and thereafter call them through for training.
The initial training, the most important part is really work readiness. You know, many of them have not been in the workplace before, so understanding work ethos, understanding very fundamental things about being in the workplace. Stick to your time, you know, HR issues that, you know, we may take for granted, but they have no idea about, and we then make sure that we at least bridge that gap.
The training that we had with OAT, we learned work skills, how to budget money, being a team player. Yeah, like a lot of things that are work related.
Some of the things I thought I knew, I didn't know thoroughly. And what I could say about it, it was informative. To say how I should carry myself in the workplace and stuff like that. How should I interact with other people? How I should manage my income, because there was a point where we were taught about a budget and how to manage our money, saving, and yeah.
In the work environment currently, there's a lot of companies will only employ youth when they do have workplace experience. So this definitely is going to add on to their skills. For example, youth might have a qualification or a degree, but they don't have any workplace experience, so it makes it really difficult for them to get into the job space.
Managing interns and managing placement of interns in businesses is not easy. We are doing it for the first time, so we're learning as we go along. We have had some challenges, but all the challenges we managed to find a solution, working amicably with the students, the interns that is, and the businesses.
The stipend is paid from the corporate partner that's a part of the YES initiative. It's paid into their account every month. It's 3,500 Rand which they get paid. They can use that to travel and they have a little bit left over.
We had a deficit in terms of employees here at school. So we spoke to Surufi from ORT and she gave us 6 interns and we dispatched them in different departments. Because here at school we've got arts, dance, drama, music, and we've got a hostel. So when we got their CVs from ORT, we looked at them and then we placed them according to their skills and according to what they wrote in terms of their aspirations.
Here I do quite a few things. I do administration, I help out with events, I take school kids to events, I've been to a school expo, I help out at the reception as well. Yeah, so like I do so many things.
The YES campaign really brings an opportunity for the entities, the government, the corporate world, and the NGOs to work together towards defeating unemployment. But it's also bringing in the shared responsibilities, the capabilities of each institution, so we don't work in silos. And I think this is an example of this is really made possible. Through this proactive approach, we know what we want to achieve and we all have the same objectives. And I think this is the secret about working in partnership, that we're working towards the same targets and objectives.
Fortunately, we do have existing relationships within the schools in Gauteng, as well as small businesses which we have trained over the last few years. So we have identified the businesses and we've done an interview process with the candidates that were placed within the business and school before.
When I attended the training at ORT, they you know, when they checked my profile, they probably liked it, and I was quite involved as well, you know, during the course. And Mr. Bugari actually came to me and said, look, there is this campaign that we are busy, you know, we have interns that we want you to maybe accommodate in your business so that we can give them experience and so forth.
In the small businesses, you know, sometimes these are people, a one-man show that has to do everything, and having an admin support, which is your backbone of your business, is of a huge, huge help.
And he came at the right time because I really, really needed somebody who can come and look at my books, you know, and do some bit of admin, because it was quite hectic for me. You know, as an interpreter, you do everything. So I could do with the hand.
Ngenza admin work yakhona and ngiyancedisa lapho nalapho nje mase ngiqedile because admin ithatha isikhathi esincane bese ngiyancedisa ke lezinto abazenzayo yonke into.
The intern, I must say, she's handy, you know, and she's really, really helping a lot, you know, not only with admin, but she's eager to learn more, you know, about the whole business.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi kuzoba into enhle ukuvula ibhizinisi because sengifundile izinto eziningi ngebhizinisi nje.
The YES campaign is just one of the solutions of South Africa, especially for the youth who are unemployed. Because what it does is that it gives the youth some workplace experience. And if the youth perform to the satisfaction of the businesses, then the businesses will be able to take them on board at the expiration of the contract. Fortunately, we have some indication from some businesses who are actually willing to take our interns on permanent basis once the contract expires. And other businesses are actually giving them more money over and above the stipend which they receive from our corporate partner.
People are benefiting. You know, the beneficiaries that are on the program currently are so grateful. You know, we've been involved in the program since September. We've already got posts on Facebook and people, beneficiaries writing us letters to say, thank you so much for the opportunity. We're so happy here. We're learning a lot. We never thought that the work environment would be like this.
Derech Eretz, many times, and coming from the Jewish perspective, in the Jewish perspective, if you touch one person, you touch a whole world. And I feel so privileged to be able to touch hundreds of people's lives. And it starts with one person, and we love to hear the personal stories. And for us to know that ORT, that started that is a Jewish organization in its root, 1880, started by the same objectives, to make people employable through vocational and artisanship. And here we are, 140 years later, doing the same thing and impacting the community the way we are.
Cape Town has joined the global trend of offering Jewish leadership programs of excellence. Having researched local and international business models, both general and Jewish, the Eliot Osrin Leadership Institute has customized a program to meet the needs and succession of leadership roles within the Jewish community.
The Eliot Osrin Leadership Institute was conceived when Eliot Osrin passed away, and there was a recognition that Eliot gave many of us the ability to understand ourselves as leaders, to teach us to have humility and compassion as a mentor and a guide to us in a very complex world where leadership is not quite understood and is considered sometimes to be the gatekeepers of the community. And what Eliot showed us was a path and a vision for bringing people in and understanding diversity within the community.
Eliot was so involved with the community, really from a financial side. He set up all these wonderful trusts that create huge cash flow for our community. And we thought, what better way to honor him than to set up an institute to create future leadership for our communities. In other words, we future-proofed on the financial side and on the leadership side.
Many of the leadership programs that exist are around young leadership, and we recognize that the important next step for our community is around creating a pipeline of leadership for succession. And so we recruited across the sector between 40 to 60-year-olds, and after applications from 60 different participants or applicants, we landed up recruiting 32 candidates for our first cohort.
For me, I think it's an opportunity for potential leadership to understand and get a viewpoint of what the community is all about. I think that especially amongst the younger generations, people don't fully understand the enormity of the work that's done within the community, the commitment that's required in order to run a community such as our Cape Town Jewish community, and I think it exposes all the organizations and the great work that's done.
We devised a program that consisted of 3 modules, led by faculty who are business teachers in the academies of business leadership programs at our universities. We focused on 3 different modules, the first one being about self and growth and understanding the makeup of the community. The second was around ethical leadership in a divided society, an unequal society, and also focusing on the Jewish lens to recognize that there's diversity and difference in the community, and how we as leaders need to create culture and understanding within the community that would be able to build an ethos that mirrored the legacy of humility of the late Eliot.
Our brief encouraged us to explore what Jewish sources and texts say about food in relation to health, ethics, environmental sustainability, tradition and history. We looked at how we could encourage our institutions, including our schools, and residential institutions, to participate in growing food.
The third component was one of action learning. Very often courses are around talk shops, and here this particular action learning was a very serious understanding of actually working within the community from a practical point of view, as taking challenges within the community that are current issues and trends that we need to investigate, research and come up with solutions for going forward in the community.
The fourth industrial revolution is upon us. Artificial intelligence, robotics and high tech, a disruptor of huge proportions. We can't even imagine its effect. It's completely changing the landscape of jobs and industries. It's a threat for businesses and professionals, to the jobs known to you and me. We're going to have to take action to ensure good jobs for all, to sustain a robust economy, to ensure our people don't fall. Maimonides tells us the highest form of charity is to provide a job and to sustain dignity.
So at the beginning it was really tough because we're working with a group of 6 people with very, very different personalities and visions. And it was a big challenge. I think that challenge was as big as our actual challenge. But in the end we managed to align and we came together for the greater good of our project.
So if you take a step back and you say, okay, you know, are all these things that we've been busy with, all these challenges or problems, are they all going to be executed, implemented? Maybe. And maybe some of them will evolve into other initiatives. But the thing that we were looking for, and I think the thing that we really pushed very hard, is the deep learning. And I think there, the program can give itself a very high score.
I have been so impressed and overwhelmed by the presentations made this evening and the wonderful projects that have been suggested and brought forward, things that are new, things that support the organizations in different ways, but all of them were attainable.
If we look at the vision for what this organization and institute stands for, it's about Derech Eretz. It's about a path to justice. It's a path to teaching values. It's a path to understanding that diversity could be a strength in the community. It's a path to being able to bring people together from different backgrounds who can share their talents and their skills in order to create a very powerful focus for community investment and ensure the sustainability of our community going forward.
Austrian-born author, educator and management consultant Peter Drucker said, "Strategy is a commodity, execution is an art." If you have missed any of our previous episodes, why not visit our YouTube channel at Derech Eretz Connect. From me, Romy Stoch and the Derech Eretz team, remember, sound strategy starts with having the right goal.